found out my fiancée used our joint savings to buy her ex a motorcycle. She said, "It's just a gift. We're still friends." I said nothing. That weekend, I transferred the rest to a new account. She called me screaming when her card declined at the airport. "My name's Daniel. I'm 32. I work as a mechanical engineer in Sacramento, California, and I used to think I was pretty good at spotting problems early, whether it was a crack in a bridge joint or a crack in someone's story. I was wrong. My fiancée's name is Lauren. She's 29, smart, funny, the kind of woman who walks into a room and immediately starts running it. We'd been together for years, engaged for 6 months. We were supposed to be getting married this fall, had a joint savings account, lived in a rented townhouse, even split up chores based on who hated which ones less. We weren't perfect, but we were a unit. Or so I thought. The story starts one Thursday night. I came home from work late, deadline season, and Lauren was asleep on the couch with the TV still going. Typical. I went to the kitchen to grab some water, opened the banking app to move some of our joint savings toward our wedding fund, and there it was. A $7,498.91 debit to Harley-Davidson of Folsom. I stared at it for a full minute thinking I'd clicked the wrong account. Maybe it was my personal card. Maybe someone hacked us. But nope, it was legit. Cleared. Gone. From our savings. I walked back into the living room and stood there, just watching her sleep. I didn't say anything. Didn't shake her awake. I just looked at her and kept asking myself, what kind of person spends that kind of money without even mentioning it? Next morning, over coffee, I asked. Her reaction? "Oh, that? It's for Austin. He's had a rough year. Divorce, job loss, all of it. He's trying to get his life back together, and he always dreamed of owning a Harley. I just wanted to help him out a little." Austin, her ex, the one she used to say was a mess and never emotionally showed up. That Austin. I asked her why she didn't talk to me first. Her exact words were, "It's just a gift. We're still friends, that's all." I figured since I put more into the savings last year, it was fair. Let me be clear, she hadn't. Not even close. I handled most of the expenses, rent, utilities, groceries. She covered odds and ends when she could, but I'd never brought it up. I thought we were a team. Turns out, we weren't even playing the same game. I didn't yell, didn't argue. I just nodded and said, "Okay." That night, when she went to shower, I sat down at my laptop, logged into our bank, and opened a new savings account in just my name. The bank let me set it up in under 5 minutes. Then I transferred every remaining cent, just over $18,000, into it. Left exactly $2.47 in the joint account. Enough to keep it open, not enough to do damage. I didn't tell her. I didn't even look at her differently. I just waited. And then, 2 days later, she rolled her suitcase into the hallway and said, "I'm flying out for the weekend. My friend in Colorado's having a rough time, and I need some space anyway. You'll be okay here, right?" I nodded, told her to travel safe, gave her a kiss on the cheek like nothing had changed. That night, I sat in my quiet house and watched my phone light up. 12 missed calls, then 15, then 23. She'd made it to the airport, all right. And somewhere between security and boarding, she tried to buy herself a last-minute upgrade. Card declined. She called me screaming, and I just let it ring. The voicemail started before her plane even finished boarding. The first one was just noise, her breathing hard, background chatter, a flurry of angry steps. The second was a full rant. "Daniel, what the hell is going on? My card just got declined at the gate." Declined. There's supposed to be plenty in the account, so what did you do? I didn't answer. She called again, 30 seconds later. Then again. I watched the screen light up while I folded my laundry in complete silence. It was surreal, honestly. I'd expected some kind of guilt or conflict inside me, but I felt clear, calm, like I was finally watching a fire burn down a house I never really lived in. By the time voicemail number 6 hit, her tone had shifted. Now she was trying to sound worried. "Hey, babe, something's up with the bank. Maybe they flagged it as fraud or something. Call me when you get this, okay? Love you." Cute. She must have boarded anyway, because the call stopped for a while after that. But the moment she landed, the text rolled in like a tidal wave. "Daniel, we need to talk. Where did the money go? I'm serious, you're acting insane. I'm staying at Miranda's tonight. We'll talk tomorrow." Miranda, her work friend. The one who still called her by her maiden name and referred to me as the guy she lives with. Fitting. I went to bed early and slept better than I had in weeks. The next morning, I checked the bank app again. Still quiet. No new activity. She hadn't touched the $2.47. Around noon, I got an email from our landlord. It wasn't addressed to just me. It was a generic reminder. Past due balance, $1,725. Failure to remit may result in notice to vacate. I blinked at it. That didn't make sense. I always paid my half. On time. Lauren handled hers through auto-pay, or at least she said she did. I opened our shared expenses folder on my computer, pulled up the last few PDFs of our rent receipts, and there it was. For the past 2 months, only my half had cleared. The landlord had split the balance and been kind enough to wait. I hadn't even noticed. I paid the balance in full right there. Not because I wanted to keep living with her, but because I wasn't going to let her reckless stupidity get us evicted. That's when I noticed something else. While double-checking our lease copy in our important docs folder, I found a subfolder titled Photos. I'd never seen it before. Inside were dozens of shots of Lauren and Austin, some from when they were dating, old stuff, but others were recent. One was taken at a bar I recognized in downtown Folsom. Another was from a roadside stop in Tahoe. And one, dated just 3 weeks ago, 2 days before the Harley purchase, was a selfie of her and Austin in front of the motorcycle itself, freshly detailed, bow still on the seat. Caption, Reunited Black Heart. I stared at it. No anger. No shock. Just confirmation. She hadn't just helped a friend. She hadn't made a one-time mistake. This had been brewing for months, maybe longer. I'd been footing bills while she played sugar mama to the same man she swore was ancient history. She texted me again that evening. Can we talk? I feel like there's something wrong between us lately. I stared at the screen, typed exactly 3 words, and hit send. I know everything. She called instantly. I didn't pick up. She didn't take, I know everything well. That night, she must have tried to call me 10 more times. When that failed, she switched to messages. First came the confused ones. What do you mean? Are you okay? Then the performative concern turned to classic deflection. If you're talking about the money, we need to talk before you jump to conclusions. And finally, the emotional sledgehammer. I did it because I didn't feel seen by you anymore. You've been so distant lately. Austin was just someone who listened. I didn't respond. Silence, I was learning, makes a better mirror than any argument. And right now, she needed to see herself. The next morning, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. It was her mother. Her voice was tight, controlled. Daniel, Lauren told me what you did. Leaving her stranded like that? Draining the account? That's financial abuse. She's devastated. You need to call me back. I actually laughed out loud. Financial abuse? Lady, your daughter siphoned $7,500 from our wedding savings to buy her unemployed ex-boyfriend a motorcycle and then lied about it to my face. But sure, I'm the abuser. I didn't call back. Later that evening, there was a knock at my door. I checked the peephole. It was Lauren. No suitcase this time, just a hoodie and her phone clutched in both hands like it was her last lifeline. I opened the door, but didn't step aside. She looked rough. Puffy eyes. No makeup. Her voice cracked immediately. Can we talk? I let her inside. Not because I wanted to, but because part of me was curious. What version of the truth was she going to spin now? She sat on the edge of the couch, hands shaking. I know I messed up, but I didn't cheat on you. Not physically. We just talked. And when I bought the bike, I swear I thought I was doing something kind. I sat across from her, arms folded. You lied. She nodded. I know. You used our money. I know. You told your mom I abused you? That made her flinch. No. I told her you froze me out and took all the money. She interpreted the rest. Classic. Blame adjacent. Just enough to light a fire and act shocked when it burns the house down. I got up, walked to the kitchen, and came back with a printed copy of the bank statement and the folder of photos I'd found. I dropped them on the coffee table in front of her. She didn't touch them, just stared like they might bite. I'm not yelling, I said. I'm not kicking you out. I'm not even angry. But I see you now, Lauren. That's worse. She started crying. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just quietly collapsing in on herself. Where am I supposed to go? She whispered. I didn't answer. She left that night with nothing but her phone, still texting as she walked down the driveway. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Can't we fix this? Don't throw everything away over one mistake. But it wasn't one mistake. It was a pattern, a worldview, a belief that she could do what she wanted and I'd clean up behind her like always. Not anymore. The last person I expected to see at my job's parking lot on a Tuesday morning was Austin. But there he was, leaning against a beat-up Toyota with faded paint, scuffed shoes, and a face that looked like it hadn't seen sleep in a week. He spotted me walking toward the office and straightened up. Daniel, he said, like I might pretend I wasn't me and walk away. I stopped halfway to the door. What do you want? I know it's weird, but can we talk? Just 5 minutes. I should have told him to go screw himself. I should have walked away. But the look on his face wasn't smug or defensive or even apologetic. It was scared. I crossed my arms. Talk. He took a deep breath. She told me the money came from her uncle, that she inherited it, said she'd been saving it and wanted to do something nice. I didn't even want the bike at first. I didn't respond. I wanted him to keep going. She showed up with it, all hyped up, talking about how she wanted to do something big for once. Said she'd tell you later, and it wasn't a big deal. That made me raise an eyebrow. So you did know she was engaged? He looked away. Yeah, but she said it was just technical. That you guys were pretty much roommates. She said you were boring. Emotionally shut down. That she didn't want to hurt you, but what? I asked. He finally looked up at me, and to his credit, he looked ashamed. She said she was only marrying you for the photos and the place. Said she needed stability until she figured things out. That hit different. Not because I believed her, but because it tracked. It sounded exactly like the kind of manipulative self-justification she was capable of. Austin kept talking. I didn't even want to come here, man. But after what happened with the card at the airport, she spiraled. Showed up at my place crying, begging me to tell you I pressured her. That it was all on me. My stomach turned. Did you? No, his voice cracked. Because I didn't. And I'm tired of being used, too. Then he reached into his backpack and handed me his phone. I have texts. Screenshots. She said some things I think you should see. I scrolled through them while standing there in the morning sun. He's so easy to manipulate. As long as I play the victim, he'll believe me. Honestly, I just want the wedding pics. Then I'll figure out my next move. One message hit harder than the rest. I gave you a bike. You're welcome. Don't screw it up, or I'm the one who'll suffer. I handed his phone back without a word. Then I turned and walked into the office. That night, I emailed the screenshots to myself, stored everything in a private folder, and backed it up to a flash drive. Lauren texted again around midnight. Please just tell me what you want. I'll do anything. I replied with a single photo. A screenshot of her, as long as I play the victim text. She didn't text back. The next day, 3 of her friends unfollowed me on social media. One of them messaged me directly. Hey, I saw your message. I'm sorry. I didn't know the full story. You didn't deserve that. It wasn't much. But it was enough to know the narrative had started to shift. She'd been trying to cast herself as the abandoned victim. But the truth had a louder voice now. And I wasn't finished. By that Friday, I knew exactly what I was going to do. I didn't want revenge for the sake of revenge. I wasn't going to burn down her life like she tried to burn down mine. But I was done being quiet. Done letting her walk around spinning her story like she was some confused, helpless fiancée abandoned by her cold and controlling partner. She picked the wrong engineer to manipulate. I opened our old group chat, a shared thread with about 15 people, friends, co-workers, her bridesmaids, my college buddies. It had been dead for weeks, mostly wedding chatter before all this imploded. I didn't write a rant. I didn't get emotional. I just posted 4 screenshots. The bank statement with the Harley-Davidson charge. The photo of her and Austin, dated. A text from her to him. I just need to get through the ceremony. Then I'll figure out how to distance myself from Daniel. And the cherry on top, he's so easy to manipulate. As long as I play the victim, he'll believe me. Then I added one line. For those still asking why the wedding's off. Hope this clears it up. And I muted the thread. I didn't check my phone for 5 hours. When I finally looked, there were dozens of replies. Some were stunned. Wait, what? She said that? Some were quiet apologies. I'm really sorry, man. She told us a different story. Should have known better. And then there were the ones that hit differently. This explains why she was trying to get us to blame you. She told me you took all the money without telling her. I feel so stupid now. One of her own bridesmaids DM'd me directly. She tried to get me to block you. Said you were dangerous. Said you lost it after a small fight. I should have asked questions. The silence from Lauren's side was deafening. Until she showed up at the apartment again. No warning. No call. Just a knock, soft and awkward, like even she wasn't sure what she was hoping for. She was wearing the same hoodie from before, hair tied back, no makeup. I opened the door, but didn't say anything. She stared at me with red eyes. You humiliated me. I tilted my head. I showed people the truth. You could have talked to me. I did. You lied. She stepped inside without being invited, started pacing. I panicked. I didn't mean for it to get so messed up. Austin doesn't mean anything. He made me feel alive again, you know? No, Lauren, I said calmly. I don't know. Because I never betrayed you to feel alive. I just worked and paid bills while you lied to my face. She stopped walking and looked up at me like a switch had flipped. I made one mistake. Are you really going to throw everything away over one screw-up? I actually laughed. One mistake? Lauren, you stole from me. You gaslit me. You lied to everyone we know, and then you tried to turn them against me. That's not a mistake. That's who you are. She didn't cry this time. She didn't yell. She just stood there, breathing hard, and finally said, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I shrugged. Neither did I. Back when you were planning your exit. She walked out 5 minutes later. Didn't slam the door. Didn't even look back. She knew it was over. And for the first time in months, so did I. The next morning, I changed the locks. It wasn't dramatic. I didn't wait for her to mess up again or give her another chance to make things harder than they needed to be. I just called a locksmith, paid cash, and watched the old key cylinder drop onto the welcome mat like the last piece of a lie hitting the ground. She wasn't on the lease. That had always been too much paperwork for her. She liked the flexibility, she said. Didn't want her credit tied up in some landlord system. Turned out that flexibility worked just fine for me now. I called the leasing office, explained the situation, and had her removed as an occupant. They asked if I wanted to formally report her for abandonment or damages, but I declined. I didn't need a paper trail. She had already left enough wreckage behind. I took the weekend to clean the place. Physically, yes, but more than that, I was scrubbing the energy out. I boxed up what was left of her stuff, random clothes, hair ties, 2 of her old journals, and a dozen expired coupons stuck to the fridge with magnets. I set it all in a box near the front door with a sticky note that said, "Pick up by Sunday. After that, it's trash." She didn't come. Sunday night, I tossed it all in the dumpster behind our building. Every single piece. On Monday, she called again. Blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice was flat this time. Not angry. Not sad. Just tired. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. I thought I had more time to fix things, but I guess I was wrong about that too. Pause. You probably won't believe me, but I never meant to hurt you. I just kept telling myself I was still young and didn't know what I wanted. But you didn't deserve that. I know I said a lot of stupid things. I did even worse things. I hope someday you'll remember me as more than the worst version of myself. I deleted the message. I didn't need it. I didn't need closure from her. The moment she'd spent our money on his new life and tried to lie her way through it, she'd closed the door herself. That week, I updated my HR info at work. Removed her as my emergency contact. I opened a new phone plan, switched my email recovery options, and even changed the lock screen photo on my phone from a vacation selfie of us in Tahoe to a photo of my dad and me at a baseball game when I was a kid. No more fragments of her in my pockets. A few days later, one last message came in from her friend Miranda. She's staying on her cousin's couch now. Says you ruined her life. Just thought you'd want to know. I stared at it for a minute, then typed back. She bought her ex a motorcycle with money she didn't earn, then lied about it. Her life ruined itself. Miranda never replied. But the silence? It felt like peace. For the first time in months, I had my life back. Not the version that included Lauren. Not the wedding I thought I'd be planning. But something better. A future that was actually mine. 2 weeks passed. No more messages. No surprise visits. Just quiet. It was strange at first. Like living in a house after the storms passed. Windows rattled, debris still in the yard, but the air finally still. I didn't realize how much tension I'd been carrying in my shoulders until I woke up one morning and didn't immediately reach for my phone to brace for drama. I went back to my routines. Woke up early, ran before work, started cooking for myself again. Something about chopping vegetables in silence became weirdly therapeutic. I even picked up an old project car from a guy on Craigslist. A rusted-out '88 Supra that needed more love than money. I figured if Lauren could blow thousands on someone else's ride, I could build my own from scratch. At least I'd know where every part came from. One Friday night, I was grabbing a beer out of the fridge when my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. The preview read, "Hey man, it's Austin." Yeah, that Austin. I considered ignoring it. But something made me open it. Just wanted to say thanks again. For not blowing up at me. For not turning this into a bigger mess than it already was. Then another message. Sold the bike. Told her I couldn't be part of it anymore. Gave the cash to my sister. She's going through a divorce and needed a down payment for a car. Figured that money should at least help someone who deserved it. I stared at the screen. Then replied. Glad to hear that. Good luck. No other messages came. Just a final ripple from a storm I'd already moved past. A few days later, I walked past a jewelry box in my closet that still had the engagement ring inside. I thought about selling it. Thought about throwing it off a cliff. But in the end, I tucked it into a padded envelope and shipped it to her mother's address with no note. Let someone else decide what to do with it. As for me, I took a deep breath, locked the door, and walked out into a clean driveway. No tension in my steps. No one riding behind me on a lie. The wedding was off. The future was open. And for the first time in a long, long time, I wasn't looking back. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.